is the absence of Adolf Hitler, the latter person doesn't care. It ain't government's toy soldiers as much as sort of risen to or elected the middle class, the mass or but also mass degenerates toy soldiers. There are leaks of adapters of original Papa of cases of adapters of Papa also leaks. They are rippers, they are slashers. When we state something that are very right on or probable of lots of the Jews out there, they don't belong to any society. They're not from any society, they're not from any society, also they belong to society. Also the Jewish belong to us. Example like fleet, we bring back glory to Europe. There are lots of different people. It's decent to speak about the troubles. Also not as comparative earlier performance as great, particularly because of the Nazis. Then also lots of people that are entangled together, or get entangled also from a few people. Lots of. Suppose someone mentions something, or someone asking, how come they murder someone? They will start asking, we would like to believe, or they will, or learn to spell, or they would like to agree, but it wasn't convincing enough. Also similar. First, can probably start tracking down some of these sort of prerequisites also for the right-eye exams. Splendid performance. Was going to be remote control and prop. There may not be as the lighting may not be as great. Suppose there was someone of importance gets more enfeebled, then there comes trouble. But lesser is the performance. Why a person spending these jails has to restart. Who could resist that when it's gotten to this level? Notice there aren't so much humans around as if also sort of they're not at a normal state. So if there are not humans, then there must be great evils around. Reason there could be of more probable compliment towards or reason proper compliments of also compliment for your proper comparative for proper that less preferable to original for proper or another for original proper also another original proper or complement towards it. Maybe that factor of it amplifies. The time of the allergy turn, perhaps for comparative reach, how soon it was sort of a major trouble. The Nazis are utterly crazy. Utterly crazy. They are ruthless, they only care about themselves. They don't get it, they didn't anticipate a review. But why it doesn't bother with how billions of those there are. It might be a factor of the revenge on this war, but it keeps only the results are there vastly diminished of nationalists. When there's thrashers, rippers out there, they're asking for deep, major, minor troubles to come towards us. It doesn't sort of require as much descriptions about them as much as sort of the Nazis started. All they think about is sort of similar to the word control. So just be at every place, just give them the usual compliment, fill the place with their compliment, as if they're not living at all. They're just some sort of robots that are synchronized to a single source. There could be also not so many. Notice that when it's Nazis, it's simply trouble. Although we got some, these technically have defeated the alliance. We don't state in it. Just act as casual, combined with a bunch of stuff. All that analysis of, wow, these keep reduced. Check out how reduced the European males are. The decent ones reduced. Clearly has been serving not just ridiculous. Would rather serve at a reason for probable or at least be more helpfulness for the billionaires. They can't just operate also expect and laugh, scoff. So that's just hideous. Who laughs at unfortunate? Why don't they declare early what is it for? For their evil plan? What has their plan contributed? They can't even build a single stuff to catch up to others. They already have so much of the wealth. Plain dumb, also idiotic. One could also sort of come up with reasons for their crimes, for example, or because they want to test someone. Then once they get nuked, that's also testing them. It might be a small factor, but certainly not large. The place has gotten to major problems because of those. They already preemptively use a lot of disciplines. What are they, crazy? They're going to get themselves severely punished. They're not even the most powerful, if it's being a test of their face, test of what they would do, suppose someone was weaker, or sort of a Nazi term, or a lot used by Nazis, at a vulnerable state. But why would we discuss stuff with them, or sort of, basically simply them at double presence, like a bunch of dementors draining energy from others. What a bunch of anti-Gohan, anti-warrior, anti-civilization, anti-themselves also, a bunch of hijacked corpses. They're as aliens from Andromeda Galaxy. The local police chiefs needs to pick up a gun, supposedly find one of those supposed detectives of capability for proper moral of offensive conduct, so directly shoot them. Drag them out to the street and shoot them. They just be discriminately shot. The guns, even the alphabets, a lot of stuff aren't even invented by these Caucasians. It could even proudly state that 80 to 90% of the inventions are by them. After they murder someone else, it's been an ongoing war where this master bond is a monstrous freaks just keep acting orderly, keep pressing. I know it's mass riots, it's mental freaks. It needs to get some medications. That's starting with some of the extremes of grown-ups. They already preemptively that smart towards Trump, cultural contaminating that current where there's an institution of Detroit person supposed to be laughing around. Only them that ridden its own corpses like some sort of atomic machine, serve to its deep end, whatever they are. They're not even insects. It's not there for the descriptive logic. There can be a lot of explanation. There is very sort of a comparative, sort of a bit more accurate, very popular comparative, more towards mentioned within our groups. They don't combat music directly as much because they can just wipe out the person that produces, or sort of target towards the producer's music or listens to the music until only mediocres are left that can be easily duped. They can particularly be duped not because they directly dupe them, but it's sort of weighted, like the combos, also with the purple constable for highlight or the purple for emphasis. But they have these camouflages that operate as if fellow opinions and starting with that. Supposed on the timing of stuff, lots of attributes these evaluate also. What are they asking for with this level? Social harmony also peace have been flated towards them. That's on the realism data. Those just operate as it's not even doesn't care. Suppose someone does operate this way, might be later because it's sort of adapted, but for a lot of those, or a few percentage of those could also become although if the cases of few percentages of or of the cases of few percentages of also because there are mass billions of those, it's still quite a lot of also those are tend to be sort of gorgeous. Perhaps also shocked. Well, sort of evaluation, probably a bit more fair evaluation. It's not that the previous, or previous also fair. Lots of the military countries could be a bit ruthless. Lots of proper persons. For each probable word, lots of regular persons. For each probable word, lots of the groups could be a bit ruthless of, because it's sort of disclosed or sort of didn't as much consider if also what if due to sort of the earlier stimulus, sort of the simulation sort of obtain certain stimulus from or the impression from original probable impressions from original probable get of earlier stimulus of that they sort of then altered something that the later could be a bit problematic, or it was a major problem. Also for certain groups, then it's not as cared towards her. Or isn't there a proper concept different from original for original for probable or after for each probable also optional. Humans are supposed to keep his thoughts. It represents your tradition, it represents value. That's the human's identity. Someone needs to do more explanation as from a terrorist, and that's from a terrorist. For humans not currently has swords or also daggers, perhaps axes at occasions, that indicates there are great evil around. But probably also constructive of compliments towards it. Glory to the people of Deutschland. The current set of norms are completely just hijacked Marxist norms. They has literally hijacked the equivalent. They had hijacked the government. How all these continue, but notice every single venue form it has a presence. They're starting the Scrabble game. That's all they got. No qualifications. For lots of the psychopaths or persons without so much normalness or without elegance or not so proper yet. Sort of doesn't recognize that that's already sort of probable that's a bit of infectious of or that's a bit improper or whether also or whether or proper whether or proper or also some of the words of Papa also is great that Netanyahu. Papa also Netanyahu has his original Papa also has original Papa also another original Papa also has considerable original Papa or Netanyahu has this military original Papa from or original Papa also original Papa also. Those has original Papa also has a bit of military background, so that's sort of more of its core. Sort of his inner value, or sort of his values at the core. Original Papa also his values of original Papa or original Papa also his values of original Papa also. That's more of his, or so then that sort of indicates not of the somewhat of sort of more businessman from the business streets. Rebuttal from business locations of Rebuttal also has original Papa or also original Papa or original Papa from original Papa also. Original Papa also that's great. For the German folks. Before that, of Israel, was from the Middle East, or other areas. If they come with the flag of Deutschland, then they were together fighting with us. It goes about, it runs and these things, it knows it's a target, yeah, and 100 minutes, how many are real? صحراء حل بالأحلام إذا تحل على الأحلام الأحلام الحلابة 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 Edelschäderei, Zukunft, if ein deutscher Volk ist. Wir sind, if ein deutscher Reich, die Einheit Reichs, die Arbeitsrechts, die Arbeitsrechts, die auch sei, Lische, die soll Deutschland nicht beschritten haben, in die Staatsrat bloß. Ja, hat. Das ist auch unsere Partner. Wofür wir ich meine, the instance placed out related by President of the Titans control compress more in the value of lightning like that. The current Lords also sort of countavle and their examples spells. Relentless, less certain locust and mass utter freaks that against each person with proper conscience. Certain that has his hijack corpses has bailed out, has been requesting determined towards the muscle, if not at the important occasion, especially given hints. Thus, more of our mission as a responsibility will answer towards these common goals of the countries, of the countrymen, towards fighting for that, for the nation, towards the examples and stuff. This glorious battle may take up through lot of the decades. Let us find as long as the later proposal would come, would suggest, recommend, or proper device, but and later you may turn to a family level entertainment show. Try not to fly the apple, boys, or can't defeat the apple. Or sort of, the ones that sort of doesn't get defeated is not a part of the competition. This is about protection of countries. Usually measures that are more literal tends to be at a functional level, but also at functionality level, can be used by the opposites as a blueprint, or sort of as strategies towards counter towards the common persons. So something to be aware of. But usually that measure as a lot of persons hasn't been aware of, or they has been operating almost at maximum. Or might be due to kindness of reasonable competitive profiles or comfortable for managers. Regional bubble also mainly appropriate comes from a fish bubble or it prefers in a fish bubble for fish bubble of worthy of consideration. For Manuel's name, Ribbit, or Rabbit goes swoosh. Maybe it does. It will also, that's its want. Enemy contact. Reload. used for probable or from or probable or voice for probable or also words for probable. That's it of this video or also visualizations of words for probable. That's it of this video probable also video listening to.